Right. So we'll start the session, the first session for object-oriented programming module. And before starting, can I know like how many are there in your batch? The total.
49 students, sir.
49. Is it 49?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think every one of you got the message, right? So we are starting at 7.
Yes, sir. We send it.
Okay. So then we will start the session from now. And so I'm Takshila Tilakanayak, and I will be conducting your object-oriented programming module. And I'm currently working as an assistant lecturer of university, and also I'm doing lots of visiting lecturing and other courses, online courses and other stuff. And my interested fields are robotics, programming, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. So those are my interested fields, and where I'm conducting lots of courses and lectures on those subjects, right? And also I'm doing the same module for your week end batch as well, right? So unfortunately, due to the island-wide power cut, we couldn't able to conduct the conduct the sessions on last week, right? So this is the first session, and I hope that like we can do another session on tomorrow as well, 1:15 to 3:15. So we will conduct that session as well. And so yeah, so that's it. And so happy to see you all. And so I will be like, how many weeks are there in your semester? Is it 14?
So still we didn't receive the new academic calendar due to it might be changed due to the corona outbreak.
So
But so yeah, we know that there are 8 weeks until the exam, sir.
8 weeks.
But
So
it's
you mean the final exam?
No, for the semester 2 exam.
Okay, right. Okay. So yeah, so that means okay. Anyway, like I will get that information from your coordinator, right? Okay, so let's start, right? So if you have any questions, like I'm recording the sessions, and as usually I'm uploading this to YouTube, and I'm sending like the link after the session, right after each session, and also the codes and the lecture slides of the each session I'm sending to you all through your common mail, right? And the video is also will be uploaded into YouTube, and the link will be also will be provided. And but the thing is, now don't wait. Okay, don't think that okay, I'm going to get anyway, I'm going to get the recorded lecture, right? My recorded lecture no, that's not going to happen. You have like participate in the live sessions, right? So that's the most effective way of learning, right? So participate in the live session. Otherwise, it's very hard to like go through the recorded session and get the maximum out of it. So what I suggest you to, and what I'm recommending you to, participate the live session. And you can use the recorded session, like if you have any doubt, right, in the lecture, or if you have doubt at any point, what you can do, you can if you have anything right unclear or anything you need to clarify, then you can watch the video, the recorded video, right? So you can then watch it, but I'm not recommending you to watch the video and learn, right? So you have to participate to the live session, and if you have any doubt from the live session, so then you can go to the link, the YouTube link I'm going to provide, then you can watch the video of this session as well, right? Okay, so we will be basically implementing codes in throughout our throughout the course. And I will be also sharing you the codes and also the slides as well as the video. So if you have anything, I mean any issue, you can always like you can feel free to ask. Any question rises when I'm conducting the session, right? So please interrupt me, right? So don't wait until the session ends, right? You can at the time that you are going to get any question, you can you can excuse and you can just ask questions. So one method is to you can unmute your mic and straight away ask your question. Otherwise, you can drop a message from the chat available in the software, right? So you can use the chat, or else you can uh, basically you can unmute your mic and ask any questions if you have, right? So that's the like the most effective way. And I hope that you will be you will help me to make this session an interactive session, right? That means like you can discuss everything with me, and you can if you have any doubts or if you have any uh, concerns, you can always discuss with me, and I will share my contact details, my email and my mobile number. So if you have any questions regarding the things I'm going to cover in like any week, you can always contact me. You can call me, or you can drop me a message, or you can drop me an email, right? And get the things clarified, right? So I want to the thing is now this programming or object-oriented programming is not like a conventional module, right? So this is not like a conventional module. This is bit different, right? I hope that you haven't done any module prior to this related to programming, right? මොහයි programming වලට සම්බන්ධ module එකක් මීට කලින් කරලා තියෙනවා programming codes, right? Anything?
Yeah, sir.
No, right? Okay, so this will be a new experience for you. So that's why I'm asking now. The thing is now here, basically, you have to, I mean, you don't have to remember anything, right? So you don't have uh, memorize anything by your heart. No need to study. You can make a part and can on a subject technique, right? But the thing is now you have to practice the codes, whatever the things that I'm going to discuss with you, this code, the programs that I'm going to write with you, you have to implement those codes. And this is not a knowledge in this module. You are not gaining a knowledge. You are gaining a skill actually, right? So you have to this is a, I mean, 100% practical subject. I mean, there are theories, but you have to implement always. You have to implement codes and you have to see what happens. Likewise, this is a very interactive and a practical module. So that's what I'm asking now. Don't think okay after the at the exam or after the assignments that you are, I mean at the assignments that you are going to get, don't think that you are going to get a paper with questions. Yes, you have questions, but those are not conventional questions. You have to write something. You have to write a code, write a program, right? So if you are not aware about programs, or if you are not aware about codes, right? So don't worry. We will be starting everything from very basics, and we will go in a smooth manner, right? Very slowly in the, I mean, the initial part, the first 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, right? So we'll go in a very slower phase, but then we will eventually cover advanced sections. But in the initial part of the code, I'm going to cover everything from very basics. And since you are beginners to this kind of a field like programming, uh, so I will be covering everything from very basics and very smoothly in a manner everyone can understand, right? So I want I want your support, right? So what I'm expecting from you, right? So if you have any questions, don't think okay, is this a silly question? මේක මේ මෝඩ ප්‍රශ්නයක්ද මම මේ අහන්න යන්නේ මම ඕන්දුවේ නැත්නම් මේක මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ හරිද වැරදිද එහෙම හිතන්න එපා. ඔයාලට මොකක් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් කියනවා, you can always ask that, right? So that's the, I mean, I'm very pleased to answer questions, right? So I mean, you are a beginner, right? So this is a new field for you, new subject for you, new module for you. So what I'm expecting from you is to ask questions if you have any issue, right? So don't think that okay, this is a silly question, or this is, don't think like that. Feel free to ask any questions. So I'm more than happy to answer those questions. And Other thing is, after every week, like the codes that I'm going to write, so I'm not going to cover lots of theory parts. මම ලොකු theory parts cover කරන්නේ මම codes තමයි implement කරන්නේ. අපි programs තමයි මේ subject එකේදී ගොඩක්ම ලියන්නේ. ඉතින් මේ programs මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ඔයා පොඩි passion එකක් පොඩි interest එකක් ඔයාගේ ඇතුලෙන් හදාගෙන මේවා හැම week එකේම practice කරලා අපි දෙන code ම අපව practice කරලා තියෙන issues clarify කරගෙන ඒ විදිහට fully practical session එකක් විදිහට මේක කරගෙන යයි කියලා එහෙම වුණොත් this is a very interesting subject. This would be a very interesting subject if you are going to like I mean you are not going to like memorize anything by your heart. මොන හරි කිසිම දෙයක් ඔළුවේ මතක තියාගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ. මේක සම්පූර්ණ ස්කිල් එකක්. කරන්න තමයි පුරුදු වෙන්නේ මේක. right? කරන්න තමයි මේ subject එක වාගේ ඔළුවට යන්නේ. So I'm expecting like you to practice the things that I'm going to cover in each week. හැම week එකේම කරන දේවල් හැමෝම practice කරයි කියලා මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ. ඒ codes ආයෙ ගහලා ඒ codes run කරලා මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා බලලා. Right, so that's what I'm expecting from you. Right, okay, so please feel free to like ask any questions if you have, and please feel free to like make this session an interactive session. Okay, so let us start the session. Right, so before that, if you have anything to be clarified regarding this module, or if you need to like know something regarding this module, please ask if you have any questions. Yes, no questions. Okay, so we have like 31 here, so there are like a few others, but anyway, we will start and we will continue the session, right? Yes, any questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Sahan.
Sir, මේක කරන්න මොකක් හරි application software එකක් මොකක් හරි හැම එකක්
software එකක් ඕනේ අපි ඒක තමයි අපි code implement කරන්න අපිට software එකක් ඕනේ අපි කියනවා එකට development environment එකක් කියලා integrated development environment එකක් කියලා මම ඒක අද ඔයාලට දෙන්නම් කියන්නේ මම link එක කියන්නේ මම ඔයාලට පෙන්නන්නම් කොහොමද ඒක download කරලා install කරගන්න කියලා ඒක install කරාට පස්සේ මම implement කරන codes ම ඔයාලට එතන implement කරන්න පුළුවන්.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, so before going on to C++, so we are covering object-oriented programming. So this module is object-oriented programming, and under this module we are going to cover the programming language C++, a programming language called C++. So don't worry about object-oriented programming or don't worry about C++. Before going on to those things, let me explain you what is a programming language, right? So first we have like C, what is a programming language, then we can understand like what's a programming language and what we are going to do with the programming language, right? So now in your day-to-day life, when you are going to like use your computer, or when you are going to use your what you call the mobile phone or any electronic device, right? So in that electronic devices, you use lots of applications, right? You say apps. Now in your computer, let's say you are using lots of apps like Google Chrome, Microsoft Word, right? KM Player, right? Or else you can Zoom, right? So you use lots of softwares, we say, right? Lots of softwares. Now I'm using several softwares here. I'm using the PDF reader software, and I'm using the Zoom application, right? And currently I'm using like lots of applications are used in my computer, right? But the thing is, now you don't know what happens inside this software, so inside these applications. මේ applications එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ softwares වල පිටිපස්සේ මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා ඔයාලට idea එකක් නැහැ, right? You are just using that software, right? ඔයා ඒක use කරන එක විතරයි කරන්නේ, ඔයා දන්නේ නැහැ ඇතුලේ කොහොමද මේක වැඩ කරන්නේ, right? අපි අකුරු type කරද්දී අර ලස්සනට word එකේ type කරන්නේ කොහොමද? අපි නැත්තම් මොකක් හරි internet එකේ search කරද්දී Google Chrome එකේ කොහොමද ඒක search කරලා අපිට ඕන results ගෙනල්ලා දෙන්නේ? එහෙ නැත්නම් Zoom එකෙන් කොහොමද මේ අපි වයි මෙහෙම කනෙක්ට් කරලා මේ වගේ ඉන්ටරැක්ටිව් විදිහට මේක වැඩ කරන්නේ, right? So you don't know about that, but it is there, right? So those kind of softwares are there and we are using that, right, in our day-to-day lives. So actually now every software, right, is actually a like a program, right? A program written by someone or a group, right? එක්කෙනෙක් හරි නැත්නම් group එකක් හරි ලියපු program එකක් තමයි ඔය software එක පිටිපස්සේ ඇත්තටම run වෙන්නේ. But thing is now we can't see that code. අපිට code එක එහෙම නැත්නම් අපිට ලියපු දේ පේන්නේ නැහැ. What's the reason now? Like we are going to see only a user interface, right? අපි දකින්නේ ලස්සන user interface එකක් විතරයි. ඒක අපිට ලස්සනට පිටින් වහලා අපිට ලස්සනට buttons තියෙනවා, press කරන්න join කියලා button එකක් තියෙනවා, search කියලා button එකක් තියෙනවා, right? But we don't know what happens when we press the search button, right? We don't know what happens when we are going to press the join button. So there is always a program. හැම software එකක් ඇතුළෙම තියෙන program එකක්, right? So that program is written by a programming language, right? So keep that idea in your mind, right? But before going on to that complex kind of idea, let me explain this. Now, if you want to get something done from the computer, right? අපිට මොකක් හරි computer එකෙන් මොකක් හරි දෙයක් කරගන්න ඕනේ කියලා හිතන්න, right? So it can be a computer or any electronic device. So like okay, දැන් අපි කාට හරි මිනිස්සෙකුට කියලා කොහොමද වැඩක් කරගන්නේ, right? අපි කවුරු හරි මිනිස්සෙක් ඉන්නවා, අපි ආව කඩේට ඇරලා මොනවා හරි බඩුවක් ගෙන්න ගන්න ඕන. අපි මොකද කරන්නේ, right? කොහොම සරල දෙයක්. අපි යාට කතා කරලා කියනවා හරි කඩේට යන්න මෙන්න සල්ලි තියෙනවා, මේ වැඩේ මෙන්න මේක අරගෙන ආවිල්ලා මට ගෙනත් දෙන්න, right? So very simple. Now if you want to get something done from a man, right, what we have to do, like we have just like give the instructions and like we can ask what to do, right? අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් මොකද්ද කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා යාට, right? So similarly, if you want to get something done from a computer or we say a machine, right? So we have to do the same thing. That means we have to provide a set of instructions. දැන් අපි කාට හරි කඩේට ගිහලා මොනවා හරි බඩුවක් ගේන්න කිව්වහම අපි instructions ටිකක් දෙනවා, right? So we are providing several instructions. Like we are going to say, okay, go to the shop and buy like 1 kilogram of, right, 1 kilogram of rice, 1 kilogram, 500 grams of dal. Likewise, we are going to provide set of instructions. අපි පොඩි විධාන කියලා කියනවා. අපි නැත්නම් instructions. එන වගේ instruction set එකක් දෙනවා. අපි කාට හරි කඩේට ගිහලා මොනවා හරි බඩුවක් ගෙන්න ගන්න ඕන. ඒ විදිහටම අපිට මොකක් හරි computer එකකට කියලා කරගන්න ඕන, right? So similarly what we have to do, we have to like provide a set of instruction. So the thing is now, if you take a man and the computer, so if you want to get something done, so we have to provide set of instruction. අර මනුස්සයාටත් මොකක් හරි අපි කියන්න ඕනේ මේ ටික මේ විදිහට කරන්න කියලා instruction set එකක් දෙන්න ඕනේ. machine එකටත් ඒ විදිහටම අපි computer එකටත් ඒ විදිහටම set of instruction දෙන්න ඕනේ. But the thing is now, the man, right? So the man can understand Sinhala or English, the language. Our language could be understood by the that man, right? අර මිනිහට අර මනුස්සයාට මං කියවර කඩේ යවනවා කියලා එක්කෙනෙක්. එයාට පුළුවන් මේ අපි කියන language එක understand කරන්න. සිංහල නැත්නම් ඉංග්‍රීසි මොකක් හරි language එකක් අපි කියන එක එයාට තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන්. But the thing is now, when it comes to computers, right? So computers or any electronic devices, they can't understand Sinhala or they can't understand English. Okay, so if a computer cannot understand Sinhala or if the computer cannot understand English, so what's the language a computer or any electronic device can understand? Sinhala English තේරුම් ගන්න බැරි නම් computer එකකට මොනවද computer එකට තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් language එක?
Ones and zeros.
Yes, exactly. Good. Exactly, right? Any electronic devices, right? So they can understand a language and that language is called binary. 1 and 0. But actually not 1 and 0. Yes, we say 1 and 0, but not 1 and 0 exactly. We say like what you call high voltages and low voltages, right? High voltages and low voltages. අපි කියන්නේ high voltage එහෙම නැත්නම් low voltage. ඔය දෙක තමයි electronic devices වලට තේරෙන්නේ. එක්කෝ high voltage එහෙම නැත්නම් low voltage, right? So we are like referring high voltages as 1, low voltages as 0, right? අපි කියන high voltage එකක් කියන්නේ 5 volts කියන්නේ 1, 0 low voltage එකක් කියන්නේ 0 volts only, right? So that's the only thing the electronic device can understand. දැන් ඔයාලට තේරෙන එහෙනම් ඔයාලා ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් එන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් කොහොමද දැන් අපේ කම්පියුටර් එකත් ඔයා කියන්නේ 1.0 විතර තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඔව්. Your computer can understand only ones and zeros, binary. So how like we are going to do these kind of things? I mean, we can do anything using a computer. We can watch films, we can do online transactions, we can order online, right? So we can uh, use this kind of webinars, I mean, this kind of online meetings, and we can search everything in the internet. We can watch YouTube videos, right? We can edit. So, I mean, we can do lots of things using computer. So, I mean, computer is a very, so as I mean, according to my statement, you can understand the computer is a very basic device. I mean, it can understand only ones and zeros, but it still it can do lots of things. The thing is now, like a computer can process ones and zeros in a very high speed, right? මම කියවනේ එක බිඳුව කියලා. ඔයා හිතන්න එපා මේ එක බිඳුව තුවහම ඔයා ගෙදර ගිහිල්ලා ගෙදර කාමරේ ලයිට් එක on off කරනවා වගේ එක බිඳුව on off ඒ වගේ on off එකක් නෙමෙයි මම කතා කරන්නේ, right? So the computers, they can understand this on off status or binary code, binary status, right? So in a very high speed, so they can process like now you in your computer you have a clock speed, right? 2.4 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, let's say. So what I mean by 2.4 gigahertz, right? So that means in once in like within a second, right? Within a second, your computer, right? Now, what's our heart beat rate usually? So usually in a healthy man, the heart rate is like 72 pulses per minute, right? Yeah, as I can remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? So 72 pulses per second, pulses per minute. सामान्य මිනිහෙක්ගේ සාමාන්‍ය නිරෝගී මනුස්සයෙක්ගේ විනාඩියකට pulses 72ක් කියන්නේ heart beat එක, right? So what happens, I mean, what the heartbeat says, like we are pumping, like the heart is pumping blood, right? So pumping blood like 72 times per minute, right? So what do you mean by 24 gigahertz speed, clock speed in now when you are going to buy a computer? So you are always looking for these features, right? I mean, the speed, the RAM, the hard disk, right? Lots of things, right? So what actually mean? What actually like the clock speed or the speed of your computer says processor speed. So that's called the clock speed. That means what happens? It's like 2.4 gigahertz. That means per second, your processor, I mean the computer's processor, right? So it creates 2.4 giga. So what do you mean by giga? 10 into the power 9 approximately. 19 තමයි approximately giga කියලා කියන්නේ. එතන මොකද වෙන්නේ? 2.4 ගුණ කිරීම 19ක් pulses මෙයාට තප්පරයකට හදන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ හරියට කම්පියුටරේට heart එකක් තියනවා. If the computer has a heart, for 1 second it beats 2.4 into 10 into the power 9. තප්පරයකට 2.4 ගුණ කිරීම 19 පාරක් මේ heart එක ගහනවා. Right? So in that speed, the computer can process ones and zeros. And a speed එකකින් තප්පරයකට 2.4 ගුණ කිරීම 19ක් ඔන්න වගේ pulse වෙනවනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ එක බිඳුවේවා 2.4 ගුණ කිරීම 19ක් මෙයාට process කරන්න පුළුවන් වගේ හරියට. Right? So that kind of a speed, that kind of processing, right, can be done in your computer. By computer ඒ වගේ ලොකු process එකක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් ඔයාගේ මේ ලස්සන graphical user interfaces හැදෙන්නේ මේ ලස්සන softwares මේ ඔක්කොම හැදලා තියෙන්නේ computer ඔච්චර ලොකු speed එකකින් මේ ones and zeros process කරන හින්දා. Right? නැත්නම් එයා බොහොම නැත්නම් light එකක් on off වෙනවා වගේ තමයි බලන්න වෙන්නේ computer එක. Right? No, like it's going to process that process like operations of ones and zeros in a very high speed, right? Okay, now what was we discussing, right? So the computer can understand only ones and zeros. So the computer, the language the computer can understand is binary. That means ones and zeros, high voltages and low voltages. So that's what computer can understand simply. So if you want to get something done from the computer, what we need to do, right? We have like okay, we are going to provide a set of instructions. Now මොකක් හරි නේද අපි මොකක් හරි Google එකේ search කරනවා නම් අපි ඒ කරන්නේ මේක කියලා මේක search කරන්න කියලා instruction එකක් දෙනවා. So we have like always when we are using a software, always when we are using our computer, we are providing set of instructions to the computer, right? But thing is now we have to like provide those things, but anyway at the end whatever the instruction that we are going to provide, they should be converted into a binary code. So that's what we discussed up to now. I mean, we want to get something done from the computer, but the thing is now, okay, so let's say now you have a Chinese man in your village. ඔයාලා ගමේ හිතමුකෝ අපි ඔයාලා ගෙදර නැත්නම් කොහේ හරි ඔයාලා ළඟපාත ඉන්නවා කියලා. Okay, let's say, right? So, or not like that. Okay, you are going to go to China, right? ඔයා චීනයට යනවා කියලා හිතමුකෝ. ඔයා දැන් කඩේට ගිහලා ගෙවල් කොහා ඉන්න තැන කඩයක් තියෙනවා. දැන් එතන ඉන්නේ චීන මිනිස්සෙක්. Right? A Chinese man is there. So what you have to do, like you have to go to that shop and somehow you have to get something done. ඔයාට මොනවා හරි කඩේ තියෙන දෙයක් ගන්න ඕනේ. So what you have to do, like you have like somehow find a method, right? You can give the instruction from English. But English එකෙන් කියන්න පුළුවන් ඔයාට ඕනේ දේ. ඒ නැත්නම් ඔයාට සිංහලෙන් කියන්න පුළුවන්. But anyway, at the end, the Chinese man should be able to understand what you say. ඔයා කියන දේ තේරුම් ගන්න හැකියාවක් තියෙනවා. But thing is, that means, okay, whatever things that we are going to speak in Sinhala, or we are going to say in Sinhala or English, that should be converted into Chinese, right? Otherwise, you can't get that thing done. Similarly, in computers, if you want to get something done, whatever the thing that we are going to set of instruction we are going to provide, we have to convert it to a binary code. So in this process, you are going to find something called a translator, right? A translator. So this is what you call the translator, right? So we have two main types of translators, right? We have two main types of translators, compilers and interpreters. So thing is now, we are using you know, right, we are using C++. So C++ is a compiler language. C++ is a compiler language. We are not going to we are not going to talk about actually interpreters, but so similarly what I'm discussing here, we have two main types of translators. The first one is compilers, the second one is interpreters, right? Compilers, interpreters. So the compiler, right, like C++, the programming language we are discussing, is a compiler. So we will discuss about this thing later. So anyway, now the thing is, the compiler is going to translate whatever the instruction we are going to provide into a binary code. අපි දැන් අපිට කම්පියුටරේ මොකක් හරි කරගන්න ඕන වෙලාවට අපි දෙන අපි ඉන්ස්ට්‍රක්ෂන් සෙට් එකක් දෙනවා. ඒ ඉන්ස්ට්‍රක්ෂන් සෙට් එක බයිනරි කෝඩ් එකකට. ඒ කියන්නේ කම්පියුටරේට තේරුම් යන විදිහට translate කරන්නේ මෙන්න මේ compiler කියන එක. Right? So the thing is, now here, right? I mean here, we have to provide the set of instructions. Right? So we are going to provide the set of instructions here. You can see, right? We are going to provide the set of instructions. So the thing here is, okay, we are going to provide set of instructions, right? But the thing is, these set of instructions cannot be provided in Sinhala or English, right? දැන් මේ අපි කිව්වා instruction set එකක් තමයි අපි දෙන්නේ කියලා. හරි. ඒ instruction set එක දුන්නාම ඒක translate කරනවා compiler කෙනෙක් binary code එකකට. Right? So that's what we discussed. But thing is, now we can't like give this set of instructions using Sinhala or English or any other language we want. අර අපිට ඕනේ language එකකින් මේ instruction set එක අපිට දෙන්න බෑ. Right? මොකද එහෙම නෙමෙයි අපි use කරන සිංහල language එකවත් English language එකවත් නෙමෙයි. අපි use කරන programming language එකක්. Right? So this programming language is similar to like the languages, our native languages like Sinhala or English. මේක අර අපි use කරන සිංහල සහ ඉංග්‍රීසි වගේම තමයි. Programming language එකක් කියන්නේ සිංහල language එක English language එක වගේම language එකක් තමයි. මොකක්ද තියෙන වෙනස? Programming language එක again අපි සිංහල නැත්නම් අපි English like if you take Sinhala or English, right? So whatever the language, so you know that in that language you have like set of rules. දැන් අපි සිංහල වල දන්නවා ඒකේ වාක්‍යات සම්බන්ධ, right? ඔය වගේ එක එක rules තියෙනවා. English වලත් එහෙමයි. right? English වලත් එහෙම තියෙනවා. passive voice, active voice, present tense, past tense, past participle ඔය වගේ ගොඩාක් ලොකු rules තියෙනවානේ. theories තියෙනවා languages වල. අන්න ඒ වගේම තමයි ඒ වගේම theories ඒ වගේම rules තියෙන language එකක් තමයි programming language එකක් කියන්නේ. So what's the specialty about this programming language? We are going to provide a set of instructions using a programming language. So what we can do, like this translator is there. In that case, we are using a compiler since we are using C++. Now, this translator, we have two main types called compilers and interpreters. So C++ is a compiler. We have lots of programming languages. So Python is now I can give some examples. So Python, and we have lots of programming languages in day-to-day life, right? So Python is the interpreter programming language, right? And Java, right? Java, right? C programming language, C++. So those are compiling programming languages. And Python, Ruby, right? We have a programming language called Ruby. So these are like interpreter programming languages, right? Interpreter programming languages. So likewise, we have compilers and interpreters. Now, thing is, now we are going to provide a set of instructions, and these set of instructions will be provided not using Sinhala or English. We have to use a programming language for this, right? Programming language. So, as I mentioned, programming language is a language like Sinhala and English, with only one difference. What's the difference? Like in this programming language, where we had to follow some standards, or we had to follow some rules. Programming language එකකින් අපි ලියන instruction නිකන් ඔහේ ලියන්න බෑ. අපි රචනාවක් ලියනවා වගේ ලියන්න බෑ. තේරෙනවද? right අපිට රචනාවක් ලියනවා වගේ සිංහලෙන් නැත්නම් ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් රචනාවක් ලියනවා වගේ ලියාගෙන යන්න බෑ මේ set of instructions, right? So we had like you have to follow some standards and we have to follow some rules, right? අපි මේ set of instructions ටික ලියන්නේ programming language එකකින්, සිංහල ඉංග්‍රීසි නෙමෙයි programming language එකකින්. මේ programming language එක specialty එක මොකද්ද? මේ programming language එකේ මොකක් හරි instruction එකක් ලියනකොට අපිට standards rules follow කරන්න වෙනවා. එක එක standards සහ එක එක rules අපිට follow කරන්න වෙනවා. Right? So a programming language is a language like where some standards and rules are applied, right? So it says a programming language is a formal language which comprises a set of instructions that produce various kinds of output. Programming languages are used in computer programming to implement algorithms, right? So we are going to write set of instructions in using a programming language, and that set of instructions will be translated into a binary code or binary, let's say binary code. So whatever the set of instructions we are going to write, the translator, in this case a compiler, is going to convert that into a binary code. So what we can do, if you need to like get something done from the computer, what you have to do, you have a right set of instructions, and there's a compiler, a translator. So that translator is going to convert that into a binary code, and then what you can do, we can implement, uh, like not implement, we can get what we want from the computer. අපි දෙන instruction set එක translate කරනවා. ඒ translate වුණාට පස්සේ ඒක binary code එකක් බවට පත් වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට පුළුවන් අපිට ඕන විදිහට computer එකෙන් අපිට ඕන දේ කරගන්න. Understood? So this is what a programming language. So if we want to get something done from the computer, so we are going to write set of instructions, so that those set of instructions will be written using a programming language. So that code, like whatever things we are going to write using a programming language, is called a code. අපි programming language එකකින් ලියන instruction set එකට අපි කියනවා code එකක් කියලා. ඒ code එක මොකද වෙන්නේ? translator එක පාට convert කරනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් translate කරනවා binary code එකට. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? මේ binary code එක කියවනවා computer එක. මොකද computer එකට තේරෙන භාෂාවකින් දැන් තියෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ ආයක execute කරනවා. So that's what happens in a write a program or a software, right? So we need to write something, and that thing will be translated, and the computer is going to execute what we have written. We got a කියපු instruction set එක computer එක execute කරනවා. Understood? So that's what basically happens in the programming language, right? Understood? Right? Okay. So so that's generally, right? So that's what you call generally, that's what programming language is, right? So we have lots of programming languages, right, in our day-to-day lives, right? අපි ගාව ගොඩාක් programming languages තියෙනවා, right? එකක් නෙමෙයි ගොඩක් තියෙනවා, right? අපි බලමු මොනවද programming languages. 100 ගාණක් තියෙනවා programming languages. හැබැයි right? So we have lots of programming languages available, right? So C++ is one of them, right? C++ is one of them. Right? So do we have a list? Right? So you can see, like A net, A plus, A B C, right? Right? B, from B we have set of, right? And C, C plus plus, C minus minus, C sharp, C star, right? So lots of programming languages are there, right? Yeah, හැම අකුරටම programming languages තියෙනවා, right? And J වල ඇති Java maybe, Java, right? Java FX, right? Julia, Python, right? So in P also you will find Pascal, Python, right? Right? Perl, right? Understood. Now we have lots of programming languages, and programming languages කියන එක හරි programming languages මම ඉගෙන ගන්නවා කියලා හිතුවට හරියන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද programming languages කියනවා 10 ගාණක් තියෙනවා. Right? The thing is, what we have to do is we have to understand the purpose, the application. තේරෙනවද? දැන් programming language එකක් ගත්තාම programming languages ගොඩාක් තියෙනවා. 10 ගාණක් තියෙනවා. දැන් ඔයාලට මෙතනම පේන හැම අකුරටම programming languages තියෙනවා. Right? But we are not going to learn each and every programming language. අපි හැම programming language එකක්ම ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Right? Right? The thing is, now those programming languages are like, we have to see the application. අපිට බලන්න වෙන application. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට මොන වගේ application එකකටද ඕනේ? දැන් උදාහරණයක් විදියට, so the programming language Java. So Java is used for like software development, right? mobile application development, web application development, right? You know, softwares, mobile applications, web application development, Java use කරන්නේ, right? So if we take C++, right? So what are the applications of C++? C++ are used in microcontrollers programming, like robotics, right? And embedded systems, or microchip program kind of phones use කරනවා, right? And graphical user interfaces, software development, right? And back-end development, ඔය ගොඩාක් applications වලට use කරනවා, right? So if you take Python, so what are the usages of Python? Python is used for image processing. Python is used for data science applications. Python is used for robotics. Python is used for machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning, right? So, I mean, the thing is now, the programming languages are application dependent. They can applications for that වෙන programming languages තියෙනවා. Right? එක languages තියෙනවා එක applications වලට මම කිව්වා වගේ. software development, web development, එහෙම නැත්නම් mobile application development වගේ ඒවට යනවා නම් අපි Java use කරනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි robot ලා control කරන්න ඔය mic controlling පැත්තෙන් එක devices හදන්න hardware පැත්තෙන් මොනවා හරි programming බලනවා C++. එහෙම නැත්නම් artificial intelligence, machine image processing, data science ඔය වගේ applications වල අපි Python use කරනවා, right? So those kind of programming languages are there. Lots of programming languages are there. But in your module, we are focusing on the programming language C++, right? C++. So C++, you don't know anything about C++. So in this topic, we are focusing on the object-oriented programming, right? So OOP. We say OOP, but don't worry, we won't be discussing about object-oriented programming like until the latter part of this course. Right? මේ course එකේ අවසානයේ තමයි අපි OOP කියන concept කතා කරන්න ගන්නේ. ඊට කලින් අපිට මේ object oriented programming කියන එකට යන්න කලින් අපි programming language එක ගැන කතා කරන්න. Programming ගැන basically කතා කරන්න ඕන. Right? Understood. So C++ is a object oriented programming language. We have two main types of programming languages, like procedural programming languages and object oriented programming languages, right? So C++ is both procedural and object oriented programming languages, categorized under procedural and object oriented programming languages. C++ කියලා කියන්නේ procedural සහ object oriented programming language එකක්. අපි Java වගේ ගත්තොත් Java කියන්නේ pure OOP language එකක්, right? So those kind of things are there. Don't worry about that. We are not going to discuss about those things, right? Anyway, now we have identified the application, so where C++ is mainly used, right? So C++ is mainly used in order to create games, right? And softwares like graphical user interfaces, Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, Illustrator. So those are mainly developed using C++, right? And web browsers, right? So in order to create web browsers, C++ is used. Google ගොඩක් codes ලියා තියෙන්නේ C++ use කරලා. Mozilla Firefox, right? So those are some softwares developed by C++. C++ වලින් ලියපු codes වලින් තමයි ඔය run වෙන්නේ ඔය මේකදී දාලා තියෙන softwares, right? And advanced computation and graphics like simulations, right? Maya, a simulation නැත්නම් 3D graphical software වලටත් use කරන C++, and databases software, right? MySQL ඒ වගේ database management software වලටත් use කරන C++, right? So lots of applications are there. And other than that, OS operating systems හදන්නත් C++ use කරලා තියෙනවා. So Microsoft Windows, Symbian, Mobile OS. So if you can remember the Symbian Mobile OS, right? So before Android and everything, there is a OS for mobile phones called Symbian. So that Symbian OS is also written in C++, right? And medical and engineering applications, in order to Now, hope you have. I hope that you have heard and you have seen uh, 3D printers, right? 3D printers, and so in the 3D printers, in order to uh, like in order to uh, program those CNC CNC නැත්නම් 3D printers වල දැකලා ඇති නේද? 3D printers අන්න 3D printers වල ඒ software එක කියන්නේ 3D printer එක මොකක් හරි print වෙන්න නම් ඒ print වෙන code එක එහෙම නැත්නම් print වෙන code එක කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ code එක ලියන්නේ ගොඩක් ඒ වගේ C++ වලින්. Yes, any questions? So please ask if there's any questions, right? Okay. Then those 3D printers, CNC machines, and ඒ වගේටත් අපි use කරන C++, right? And compilers. So you don't worry about compilers. I will explain about compilers later. And yes, so these are the applications of C++ programming language. When මේ වගේ applications වල තමයි අපි C++ programming language එක use කරන්නේ. ගොඩාක් මේ වගේ applications වල අපි use කරනවා. Right? අපිට C++ programming language එක use කරලා කරන්න පුළුවන් දේවල් තමයි මම මේ කිව්වේ. Right? දැන් මම කියවනේ programming languages 10 ගාණක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. There can be like thousands of programming languages, but like they are application dependent. I mean, these are like application oriented. That means like, as I mentioned, if we take a programming language, there are specific applications that we can use that programming language for. The programming language we use kind of set of applications ටිකක් තියෙනවා, right? ඒව ගැන තමයි බලන්න. Okay, understood. Okay, right. Yeah. So now with that, you have a basic knowledge and a basic understanding about C++, right? Where to use C++, what are the applications of C++, and up to now you know what's a compiler, what's a programming language, and basic introduction to C++, right? C++ kind of knowledge, right? So using that knowledge, right? So let me like introduce you to the software or the the IDE, the integrated development environment, right? The integrated development environment we are going to use, right? Let me introduce the integrated development environment that we are going to use. So this is the software, this is the development environment, this is the editor that we are going to use in our module to code. අපි අර monkey right කිව්වේ අපි codes ලියන්න කියලා මේ module එකේ ගොඩක් අපි practically codes හැම වෙලේම ලියන්න කියලා අන්නේ codes ලියන software එක මොකක්ද කියලා මම දැන් පෙන්නන්න යන්නේ, right? So you can download it and you can keep them installed in your computers, right? So if you have, I hope that you all have computers or laptops, right? So what you can do, you can download this software and you can install it in your computer. And the thing is now, if you don't have a laptop with you, it's fine, right? If you don't have a laptop with you, it's fine, since laptop එකක් නැතත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. මොකද මේ වගේ softwares තියෙනවා phone එකකට. ඔයාගේ mobile phone එකේ වුණත් මේ software එකක් දාගන්න පුළුවන්. C++ compiler කියලා search කරලා බලන්න mobile මේ app store එකේ තියෙනවා මේ port කරන්න පුළුවන් programming languages, right? So C++ compilers, right? So you can search C++ compilers in your mobile device if you don't have a laptop with you. මම කියන laptop එකක් නැත්තම් විතරයි. laptop එකක් තියෙන අයට පුළුවන් මම මේ කියන විදිහට මේ software එක download කරගන්න. laptop එකක් නැති අයට පුළුවන් phone එකෙන් C++ compiler කියලා search කරලා download කරගන්න, right? when මේක search කරනවා C++ compiler මම මේ කියන්නේ laptop එකක් නැති එක්කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම්, if you don't have a laptop with you, you can search in your mobile phone C++ compiler and in the Play Store, and you can download the app and you can implement codes. App එක download කරලා මේක codes වලට implement කරන්න පුළුවන්, right? So those who have a computer with you, what you can do, so this is the software we are going to use. So what you can do, search for Due C++, Due C++ download, Due C++ download, right? Due C++ download. So what you can do, so the first link you can use this link, Due C++ download, and go to the first link. Go to the first link. Right. So simply you can download it from here. Right. Simply this is a free software, open source software. So nothing to register or nothing to get like registered or nothing to pay. You can just download it. Right. Right. So you can just download it from here, and I'm not sure whether there's a problem with this. Let me see. So that's usually available, but I don't know. That's the issue with my internet connection. Okay, internet connection is a so this is available usually, right? I think it's a issue with my internet connection most probably, right? Right, so it's downloaded, right? So it will be downloaded like this, right? So the exe file will be downloaded. So what you can do, like no need to do anything, just install it. ලොකු දෙයක් කරන්න එක download වුණාට පස්සේ normal වල software install කරන්න. ඒ වගේ බොහොම සරලව ඔයාලට මේක install කරන්න පුළුවන්, right? බොහොම සරලව ඔයාලට මේක install කරන්න පුළුවන්, කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. download වුණාට පස්සේ මේක install කරලා දාන්න මොකුත් වෙන අමුතුවෙන් කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ, right? Understood. So then what you can do after installing it, you are going to see something like this, right? In your start menu probably, right? In your start menu you can search for Due C++. The install කරාට පස්සේ start menu එකේ පොඩ්ඩක් search කරලා බලන්න Due C++ කියලා. නැත්නම් සමහර desktop shortcut එකක් හැදෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, right? නැත්නම් start menu එකේ Due C++ කියලා search කරන්න. Right, this one මෙතන Due when මේක Due කියලා search කරා නම් එනවා Due කියලා තිබ්බා නම් ඇති මෙතන Due C++, right? So you can open that, right? You can open that, and this is the software we are going to use simply, right? මේක තමයි අපි use කරන software එක, right? මේක තමයි අපි codes ලියන්නේ, right? මේක තමයි අපි codes ලියන්නේ සහ codes run කරන්නේ, right? So what we can do now, right? So I will like simply explain you how to write a code, right? I will simply explain you how to write a code. What we have to do, go to file, right? And take a new source file. මේ ෆයිල් එකට ගියා, new එකට ගියා, source file කියන එක select කරා. Right? So we are going to get a new source file. Right? So then what you have to do, now this is where we are going to write our code. Right? I mean, this is not a code, but this is where we are going to write a code. So before running it, I mean, before writing a code, you can save it using Control S. Right? Control S ඔබලා මේක save කරන්න පුළුවන් ඔයාලට. නැත්නම් මෙතනින් file ගිහලා save කරන්න. Right? So you can select anywhere you want. Right? So I will create a new folder. Week 1. Right? And let me go here and let me create a new folder. Right? Right? So I'm just selecting a location. Right? So let me give a name, a customized name 1.0. මේකට කැමති නමක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Example 1. Example 1. Right? So now you can see, I will show you the location. Right? Within OP weekday 1 week 1 කියන එකේ codes කියන එක ඇතුලේ example 1 කියලා එකක් හදලා තියෙනවා. දැන් මේක now here this is a like a CPP file, that means C++ file, right? So this is not a like a docs file, PDF file or MP4, right? So this has an extension of CPP, so that means this is a C++ code. So you can refer this as a C++ code. I mean, this is empty for now. දැනට මේ code එක empty, but this is a set of instructions written in C++. මේ තියෙන්නේ C++ වලින් අපි ලියන්න යන set of instructions ටික. Right? C++ වලින් ලියන්න යන instruction set එකක් තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. Right? C++ වලින් ලියන්න යන instruction set එකක් තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. Right? So set of instruction written in C++. Right? Okay. Now right? So I hope you can remember what to do, right? So if you are not, please ask if you have any questions. And other thing is that I will upload the video and I will send you the link. So then you can have a look again how to do this, right? Or else you can, if you have any issues, please ask, right? So don't hesitate to ask questions. You can drop a message here, right, on the chat as well, right? You can drop a message in the chat as well. Okay, so we just download the development environment, right? And I just create a simple code, a C++ code, and I showed you the extension is CPP, right? So this is a C++ code, right? So in this code, now this is a code C++, a C++ code, right? So I'm repeating. Now we can write set of instructions here, right? So we can write set of instructions here, right? We can write set of instructions here. So shall we write some instructions? So don't worry about these. You don't know anything about these things, right? So you don't know anything about this still. So don't worry, I will explain what are these things, right? I will explain what are these things. Right? So this is a simple code. Now in every code, these things should be there. හැම code එකක මෙන්න මේ ටික නම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තියෙන්න ඕන. Right? මේක හැම code එකකම තියෙනවා. Right? So I will explain what are these things. Include IO stream, using namespace std, right? Using namespace std, int main, right? So I will explain you these things, what are these things later, right? But let me write a simple code, right? And show you how a program works, right? Okay, so let me write my first program. Cout this is my first program. Right? Now, don't worry, you don't know about anything, right? So you don't know what I just write, what we mean by see out, right? So don't worry about that, right? So I just showed you how to write a code. That's all, right? How to write the code. That's all. Now, then what you can do, I will explain these things later. මම explain කරන ඔක්කොම මුලින්ද මම මේවට sample code එකක් ලියන විදිහ තමයි මම මේක මේ development environment එක කොහොමද use කරන්නේ කියලායි මම මේ explain කළේ. Right? So what we can do, right? So this is a program we read, right? So what we can do now, we have got some other things as well. Okay, so let me run this. So what I can do, how to run this, you have to first hit on this compile, right? So what's going to happen when you are going to compile, right? Sorry. What's going to happen when you are going to compile it, right? So I'm going to compile it. So you can compile it using this button, right? So can you remember what is compiling? So this is a set of instruction we just wrote. අපි මේ දැන් ලියපු instruction set එකක් තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. ඔයා දැන්ට දන්නේ නැහැ මොනවද මේ instruction කියලා. ඔයා දැන් දැන්ට දන්නේ නැහැ මොනවද මේ තියෙන instruction කොහොමද මේක ලියුවේ කියලා ඔයා දන්නේ නැහැ. But assume, right? So you don't know about these instruction. What are these instruction? You don't know anything, right? But just assume that you have written a set of instructions. ඔයා දැන්ට set of instructions ටිකක් ලියලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා assume කරනවා. Right? So what you can do now, you can compile it. So what do you mean that compile? Can you remember this thing? So what do you mean by compile? So we are going to write a set of instructions. Then අපි ලියලා තියෙනවා වගේ set of instructions ටිකක් තියෙනවා මේ තියෙන. ඒක අපි compile එකේ මොකද කරන්නේ translate කරනවා. Translate කරනවාම මේක binary code එකකට convert වෙනවා, right? So that's what you call compiling. Right? That's what you call compiling. So what's going to happen here? Right? So what's going to happen here? Can you see now there is a file created. මේ file එක කලින් තිබ්බ නෑ නේද? So exe file is created. Right? The exe file is created. So what do you mean by exe file? Executable file. So that means the set of instruction, right? This set of instructions we have written. අපි මේ ලියපු instruction set එක මොකද කරලා තියෙන්නේ, right? So this instruction set is converted to a binary code. To be exact, a executable file. අර computer එකට තේරෙන විදිහට convert කරලා හදපු file එක තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. අර එහෙනම් මේ translator, so you can see the translator is going to convert this, right? So translator is going to convert this set of instructions and into a form where the computer can understand, right? Our computer can understand කරගන්න පුළුවන්, right? Computer එකට තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට මේ format එකකට මෙතනින් convert කරලා තියෙනවා, right? So that's what going to do. Understood? Yes. So then what I want to highlight again, so this file, so let me open this file, right? So can you see now this is my first program. So we wrote a program to print this line. මේ line එක print කරන්න අපි program එකක් ලියුවා. This is my first program. අපි program එකක් ලියුවා මෙන්න මේ විදිහට print කරන්න. This is my first program කියලා print කරන්න තමයි අපි පළවෙනි code එක අපි ලියුවේ, right? So I will explain these things in detail, right? So now the thing is, now this is a program. This is a software kind of a thing. තේරෙනවද? මේක ඔයාලට pen එක දාගෙන නැත්නම් ඕන තැනක මේක අරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. This is executable file. So what you have to like here, you have to just compile it, right? You have to just compile it and what's going to happen? The executable file will be created. Now, thing is, when you are going to open it, you are going to see a message. The message given by like us, we wrote this program. මේ දැන් බොහොම සරල program එකක් මොකද්ද? දැන් මේකවත් මම කියන්නේ මේ අපි පළවෙනි software එක අපි හැදුවා. නැත්නම් අපි පළවෙනි program එක අපි හැදුවා. ඒ මම එහෙම කියන්නේ. දැන් මේක ඔයාලට පෙන් එක දාලා එහෙම නැත්නම් කොහේ හරි වෙන කම්පියුටර් එකක වුණත් මේ exe file එක දාන්න පුළුවන්. දාලා මොකද කරන්නේ? මේ ඔයා මේ exe file එක open කරාම, right? So what's going to happen? So this is software. I mean, nothing happens, nothing useful happens. මෙතන මොකක් හරි useful දෙයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එකම දේ මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? අපි මේක open කළාම this is my first program කියලා print වෙනවා. ඒකට තමයි අපි මේ program එක ලිව්වේ. ඒකට තමයි අපි software එක හැදුවේ. අපි software එක හැදුවා. මොකක්ද? මේ software එක open කළාම this is my first program කියලා පෙන්නනවා. Right? So this is a program. So this is a like executable file. You can copy it somewhere and you can like open it in other computer as well. Right? A simple program written by us. Right? Understood. So what you have to do, like I will explain each of these codes, right? What is cout, what is main, what is namespace, what is IO stream, and those things will be discussed later, right? But what I want to do, what I want you to do is to download this C++ program, right? So download this C++ software, right? From the internet, and keep it installed in your computer. And after installing, you can search for Duo C++ in your start menu, and search it for like search it in the start menu, and you can open it and try to like run this code, right? I will provide you these codes, so you can just run them and see, right? Just run them and see. Okay, so yes, so before going on to further, I will, as I mentioned, I will explain these things, and I will explain how this print is happen, what's mean by cout and other stuffs I will discuss, right? So I will discuss about those things in detail. But before that, let me quickly go through the syntax. Now, this is something important in your, we have to like identify the parts of the program. මේ අපි ලියපු program එක මේ තියෙන්නේ. එන්න මෙයාගේ program එක complete program එකක් පෙන්නනවා. ඒකේ මම ඔයාලට parts one by one පෙන්නනවා. So you can have the idea about the structure of a program. So this is a code. මම කියවනේ මේ C++ code එකක් කියලා අපි කියන්නේ. So I'm going to explain what are the parts, what are the main parts of a code, and what are the what is the structure of this code. Code එක structure එක, code එක කොහොමද පිළිවෙල, order එක, ඔන්න ඔය දේවල් ටික කොහොමද තියෙන්නේ කියලා මම දැන් discuss කරන්න යනවා. Right? So this is called a C++ code, and so this is the structure, right? So this is the structure of a C++ code, right? So first you have like these are called, right? These are called this one, include IO stream, right? Include IO stream, and this is basically called the header, right? So this is called the header, right? Give me a second. Okay, sorry for that. Now thing is, so don't take this. I know that this is a new thing for you, right? So as I mentioned, this is not like a conventional subject. මේක conventional subject එකක් වගේ නෙමෙයි පොඩ්ඩක් වෙනස්. අලුත් concepts ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. අලුත් terms ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. You are going to find new terms here, right? So lots of new things here. So don't worry. Now there won't be any theory parts here, right? So I'm not focusing on a lot of theories here, right? So don't worry about these things. You don't need to you don't need to remember these things, and we are not going to get an exam for this. I mean, we are not going to get a question paper from these theory parts, right? What I want to I will use a different approach for this subject. That means I will cover the basic stuffs, right? These kind of basic stuffs quickly. And what I'm going to do mainly is to practice codes with you, right? So I'm going to mainly practice codes with you, right? So I'm going to write lots of codes and do some practical implementations with you. But before going on to those practical implementation, that means we are going to write lots of codes and we are going to implement lots of applications. But before going on to that, we have first go through these basic uh, concepts, and we need go through the important things, right? And so that's what I'm covering these things. But other than that, don't worry about these things that much. What we need to, as I mentioned earlier, what we need to focus on is the practical implementation, how to write a code, how to implement, how to get something done from the computer, right? So programs නැත්නම් codes ලියන එක ගැන තමයි අපි හැම වෙලේම focus කරන්න ඕනේ. හැබැයි එහෙම අපිට එකපාරම code එක ලියන්න යන්න බෑ. අපිට පොඩ්ඩක් මේ වගේ දේවල් පොඩි touch එකක් නැත්නම් පොඩි idea එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒකයි මම මේ ටික cover කරන්නේ. ලොකුවට මේ කතා කරන දේවල් ගැන ලොකුවට හිතන්න යන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මොකද මේවා ඔයාලට theory questions විදිහට අහන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද්ද header file එකක් කියන්නේ? මොකද්ද name space එකක් කියන්නේ? මොකද්ද semicolon එකකින් වෙන්නේ? මොකද්ද block එකකින් වෙන්නේ? ඔය දේවල් ගැන එච්චර හිතන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මේ idea එක ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ හොඳටම ඇති. මොකද අපි මේකේ mainly focus කරන්නේ අර codes ලියන එක ගැන. right? කොහොමද code එකක් implement කරන්නේ? right? ඔන්න ඔය දේවල් තමයි අපි mainlyම focus කරන්නේ. So here now include IO stream. Now this will be there in almost all the codes, right? හැම code එකකම මේ part එක තියෙනවා. So this is called including header files, right? මේකෙන් අපි header files include කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි අතර මේකෙදි කරන්නේ වෙන කොහේ හරි තියෙන code එකක තියෙන දේවල් ටිකක් අපේ code එක ඇතුළට ගෙනල්ලා දාගන්න එක. Right? So we are going to import some parts of we are going to import some other code or other definitions, right, to our code. වෙන කොහෙන් හරි තියෙන code එකේ තියෙන definitions එහෙම නැත්නම් code එකේ ඇතුලේ තියෙන දේවල් අපේ code එකට ගෙනලා දාගන්නවා, right? So then so we will discuss about these header files. Now the thing is, I mean, like I can't explain everything to you and start implement coding. No, this subject is not going to do work that it's not going to work like that. We have to just get the introduction, and we have we have to implement codes. We have do the practical implementations. අපි මේ පොඩ පොඩ theory කතා කරගෙන අපිට practical implementation කරගෙන යන්න. දැන් මේ header files ගැන අපි ගොඩක්ම ලොකුවට කතා කරන්නේ තව සති අවසාන සතිවල. මේ name spaces ගැන අපි කතා කරන්නේ අවසාන සතිවල. හැබැයි ඉතින් එහෙම කියලා අපිට දැන් I mean හැම code now every code uses header files. Every code uses namespace. But where we have discussed about header files and where we have discussed about namespaces are in the last weeks of this course or last weeks of this module, right? But what we have to each and every code, you have a header file, you have namespaces. So we have to use them without knowing the theory. Theory එක දැනගන්න නැතුව අපිට ඒවා use කරන්න වෙනවා. Right? Right? So we have to just use them without knowing the proper theory. So that's the one important point of this course. මේ course එකේ තියෙන වැදගත් දෙයක් තමයි ඒක. අපි සමහර theory අපි cover නොකරුණත් ඒවා අපිට use කරන්න වෙනවා. Right? අපි පස්සේ අපි cover කරනවා මේ වගේ දේවල්. Right? Okay. So then, so this is the namespace, and also about this we will discuss later, right? Namespaces, we will discuss about the namespaces later. And this is the function. This is called the, uh, yeah, here. This is called a function, right? So this is called a function, and yeah, function uh, declaration. So this is called a function declaration. We have a function declaration here. Function declaration, right? And this is called a structure. A structure. We have a structure here, right? And this is the most important section in the code. මේ තමයි code එකේ තියෙන important section එක. අපි කියන main function එක කියලා තියෙනවා. මේ තියෙන main function එක. Right? So how we are going to identify the main function? The name is main, int main. මේ තියෙන main function එක. So this is where the main function starts, this curly bracket. So from this curly bracket, the main function starts, and that main function is going to end from this curly bracket. Open curly bracket, this is the closing curly bracket. So whatever the things that we are going to include in the main function, right? So that's the main code of the function, and this is called the function, user-defined functions, function definition. Function definition. So you call this is as the function definition. So now actually don't worry about these things, right? So I just want to like show you. Now this is the function declaration. We call function declaration this part, function declaration, and this is a structure, and this is the main function, and this is the function, the user-defined function. So this is the main function, right? The main function. Right, so this is called the main function, right? So this is called the main function, and this is the function declaration, this is the structure, and this is the function definition, and this is the main function. So for now, don't worry about these things, right? So what is meant by function declaration? Now these are user-defined functions. What mean by structures and what mean by function definition? No, don't worry about these things. We will only focus on initial weeks of our course is the main function. අපි අර course එකේ මුල් weeks වල අපි කතා කරන්නේ main function එක ගැන විතරයි. අරවා අපි implement කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ, right? But we have like used the include IO stream and using namespace. Those codes we have to implement, and we have like use them in our codes. And other thing is this function definition, sorry, the function definition, or those things we are not going to focus about. But the main function we have to like we have to focus on the main function. We are going to write the main function, so I will discuss that in a minute, right? And there's some important point to be highlighted here, right? This one, so you can see semicolon is the state terminator. So this is the I mean so let me remove these things and show you, right? Okay, so you can see semicolons everywhere, right? What හැමතැනම semicolons පේනව නේද? See, semicolons, right? Semicolons. So you can see semicolons, right, everywhere. So semicolon is the statement terminator. That means, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to write set of instructions, right? අපි code එකක් කියලා අපිට computer එකේ මොකක් හරි කරගන්න වුණාම අපි මොකද කරන්නේ? අපි set of instructions ටිකක් තමයි computer එකට දෙන්නේ, right? අපි computer එකට instruction set එකක් දෙන්නේ. ඒ instruction දෙන්නේ අපි statements විදියට. ඒ කියන්නේ instruction by instruction. set of instructions. අපි කියන මේකට statement එකක් කියලා. කියන්නේ මේ තියෙන statements. මේ තියෙන එක statement එකක්, මේ තියෙන තව statement, මේ තියෙන තව statement එකක්, මේ තියෙන තව statement එකක්, මේ තියෙන තව statement එකක්, මේ තියෙන තව statement. So we have a set of statements, right? So each statement should be terminated with a semicolon. So this is something you have to keep in your mind. මොකක් හරි ඔය ස්ටේට්මන්ට් එකක් ලියනවා නම් ඒ ස්ටේට්මන්ට් එක ඉවර කරන්නේ හැම වෙලේම ඔයාලට දාන්න වෙනවා semicolon එකක්. Right? So you have to always use a semicolon. So keep that thing in mind. Always you have to use a semicolon after every statement. හැම statement එකකම අවසානයේ ඔයාලට semicolon එකක් use කරන්න වෙනවා. Right? You have to always use a semicolon. Right? And the other thing is, so one thing we discuss, the semicolon, right? So or after every statement, hammer statement අවසානයේම ඔයාලට semicolon එකක් දාන්න වෙනවා C++ program එකක. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට තව දෙයක් තියෙනවා block කියලා එකක් ගැන කතා කරන්න. Right? So what I mean by a block? A block is a logically connected statement that are surrounded by opening and closing curly brackets. අනිත් දේ තමයි blocks. Right? So you have to keep these things in your mind, right? So you can see blocks everywhere, right? Blocks, right? So can you see now here, right? So starting curly bracket and ending curly bracket, right? So this is a block. Maybe a block here. Starting curly bracket එකකුනේ ending curly bracket එකකුනේ cover වෙන segment එකකට අපි කියනවා like a logically connected statements, a set of statements, right? So this is the main block, main functions block. අපි කියන මේ main function එකේ block එක කියලා. ඒ සමහර මෙතනත් block එකක් පේනවා. So this is called the block of the if condition. Now these if conditions will be discussed on coming weeks, right? If conditions can be kata karna in a week, right? So this is a block, the if condition, and this is a while loop. This is called a while loop. This is called a loop, and this is the block of the while loop, right? A block, right? So what you have to keep in mind, දැන් අපි මෙච්චර වෙලා කතා කරපු දේවල් වලදී ඔයාලට හිතා ගන්න තියෙන මොකද්ද? අපි, right? So I will summarize the things that we discussed up to now. So what we discussed, okay. This is the standard structure of a C++ program. Right? මේ තමයි C++ program එකක standard structure එක. මම බොහොම සරලව standard structure එක තමයි මේ පෙන්නලා තියෙන්නේ. Right? So what's the thing here? Now, right? So we have header files. Header file include a namespace using namespace std. So don't worry about these things. We will discuss about these things at the end of our course. අපේ course එකේ ඉවර වෙනකොට අපි මේවා මොකක්ද කියලා මේ මොනවද මේ header file එකක් කියන්නේ මොකක්ද statement නැත්නම් මොකක්ද namespace std කියලා කියන්නේ කියලා discuss කරනවා. So we are going to discuss about those things at the end of our course. So don't worry about that. And the function, so this is a function, right? So we called what? This is a function declaration and this is a structure declaration. So we will discuss about these things later. So don't worry about that, right? And this is called the function definition, right? So don't worry about that too, right? Don't worry, right? So what we have to focus about is the main function, right? So we have to focus about the main function. So in the main function, we have lots of things, right? So main function block. So right, this is the boundary of the main function. So you can see the boundary of the main function, right? And so that's called the main function, and we are only working with main function. අපි දැන් මේ අපේ course එකේදී මුල් part වලදී අපි කතා කරන්නේ මේ main block එක ගැන විතරයි, right? So we are going to discuss about the main function only. So then thereafter, right, other thing is the semicolon, that we are going to write set lots of statements in our course, right? Lots of statements in our code. So what to do after each statement, you have to end that statement using a semicolon, right? So you have to end that statement using a semicolon always, right? And block, how to identify a block? The main block, the if condition block, the while loop block. So we have lots of blocks. So how to identify? So there's this starting curly bracket and ending curly bracket. Or we say starting brace and ending brace, right? So that's we are going to identify the main function, right? So that's what they are in the main code. Sorry, that's what they are in the code, right? So that's what simply they are in the C++ code, right? Understood? So let me quickly go back to the code that we just wrote. Right? Let us go back to the code that we just wrote, right? So don't worry about, I mean, now, I told you that don't worry about the IO stream, the include IO stream, and using namespace daily. So don't worry about them, right? So up to, I mean, like for now, don't worry about them. And this is the main function. So how we are going to identify the main function, right? So there's a keyword called int, right? So there's a keyword called int. And how to identify the main function? Then the keyword is main. Int main කියලා කියනවා නම් ඔය තමයි main function, right? So that means we are going to implement our code. We are going to write our set of instructions. We are going to write our statements in this main function. මේ main function එක ඇතුලේ තමයි අපි හැම දෙයක්ම ලියන්නේ. Right? So how we are going to identify the main function? Int. So this is called the return type. We will discuss about these things later. And this is the main function name. And you have like parentheses, right? And then you have starting curly bracket and the ending curly bracket. A starting curly bracket and the ending curly bracket, right? So this is called the main function. So in now, so you may wonder, okay, so we have lots of things here, right? So we have lots of things here. මෙතන ගොඩක් ඒවා තිබ්බන දැන් ඒවා ඔක්කොම මෙතන නැහැ. right? මෙතන තියෙන ඔක්කොම අතන නැහැ, right? So the thing is, now I explained this, but this is a sample. මේ අර ඔක්කොම තියෙන වෙලාවට නිකන් කෝඩ් එකේ sample එකක් තමයි මම පෙන්නන්නේ. full code එකක් මේ පෙන්නලා තියෙන්නේ. So this is a the full form of a C++ code, right? So this is a full form of a C++ code. So we are not going to worry about that. I mean, this is the full form. මේක තමයි අර ලොකුම කියන්නේ ලොකු මේ තියෙන බොහොම අර full code එකක් මම මේ පෙන්නලා තියෙන සම්පූර්ණ code එකක්. හැබැයි අපි සාමාන්‍ය code එක ලියද්දී හැම එකම දාන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. No need to include everything, right? So what we have to do, this thing will be, these two things will be there in almost all the programs. So don't worry about that. We will discuss about that later. And you have the main function. So how we have to identify the main function? Int main parentheses, and this is the starting curly bracket, and this is the ending curly bracket. And whatever the things that you are going to include under this main function, right? So they will be inside the main function. So they will be executed. The main function එකේ තමයි අපි හැම code එකම දාන්න ඕනේ. අපිට set of instructions තියන්නේ අපිට මොකක් හරි computer එක කියලා කරගන්න ඕනේ. We need to get something done from the computer. So in that case, we need to provide set of instructions. So all the instructions will be, right, implemented or will be included inside this main function. මේ main function එක ඇතුලේ තමයි ඔය හැම instruction එකක්ම අපි දාන්නේ. Understood? Right? So keep that thing in mind. So for now, we will implement the main function. Everything we will implement inside the main function. Right? අපි main function කියන එක. මේක තමයි main function කියලා කියන්නේ. ඕක ඇතුලේ දාන හැම code එකම execute වෙනවා. අපිට මොකක් හරි දෙයක් කරගන්න ඕන නම් අපි ඒ instruction එක instruction එක අපි දාන්න ඕනේ main function එක ඇතුලේ. So if you want to get something by the computer, we have to include that instruction inside the main function. Right? Understood? Right? So what do you mean by cout? So cout is a command. මේ තියෙන cout කියලා කියන්නේ command එකක්. මේ cout command එකෙන් මොකද කරන්නේ? Cout is a command. So after that we are going to use two arrow key. So two arrows, right? Two arrows, cout, two arrows, and then we can give whatever message we want. Like when you are going to give that message, you have to give it inside the double inverted commas. Double inverted commas ඇතුලේ ඔයාට message එකක් දෙන්න තියෙන්නේ. So thereafter what you can do, right? So thereafter what you can do, you can terminate it. See, terminate. Can you remember? Terminator. Semicolon is the statement terminator, right? So we have a statement here, right? So what do you mean by this statement? See out, this is my first program. So that means we are providing an instruction to the computer. We are providing see out. So what do you mean by see out? We are asking to print. We are asking to print this message. So whatever the message that we want to print, right? I mean, display, not print, display. So we are like providing a command, like we are asking to display this message. So see out, 2 arrows, and the message. So the message should be given inside double inverted commas. So that's the instruction. So this is our first instruction, and we are going to terminate it. So that's it. So every statement, හැම statement එකකට පස්සෙම දාන්න ඕනේ මොනවද? Statement terminator. So what's the statement terminator? The semicolon, right? දැන් අපි එහෙනම් මොකද්ද මේ කියලා තියෙන්නේ? බොහොම සරල දෙයක්, right? So don't like get this too complex. මේක බොරුවට නිකන් සංකීර්ණ කරගන්න එපා, right? We have header files and the namespace. You don't know about these things. You don't know about these things. So don't worry about these things. These will be there in every code. For now, think it as this, right? These two will be there in every code. දැනට එහෙම හිතන්න. මේ දෙක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කෝඩ් එකක් ඇතුලේ තියෙන්න ඕන. Right? So then we have the main function, right? So we have the main function there. Whatever we need to get done from the computer should be included inside the main function. අපිට computer එකෙන් කරගන්න ඕන දේවල් හැම දෙයක්ම මෙන්න මේ main function එක ඇතුළේ තමයි දාන්නේ. කොහොමද main function එක ඇතුළට දානවද කියලා හොයාගන්නේ? You have to like identify it by this opening curly bracket and closing curly bracket. So that's the only method of identifying the boundary of the main function. So this defines the boundary. The opening curly bracket and the closing curly bracket define the boundary. And this is one statement or one instruction that we have given. අපි දුන්න එක instruction එකක් තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. So what's the instruction? Display, see out. See out means display. Display, then we need to like provide 2 arrows, and then within double inverted commas our message. This is my first program. Then this is the instruction, and we need to terminate that instruction. That means we need to terminate that instruction in the sense we need to end that instruction. So how to end an instruction? How to say finish? That means our statement is finished. We have to use a terminator, statement terminator. That's the semicolon, right? ඔන්න එහෙනම් අපි main එක ඇතුලේ එක instruction එකක් දුන්නා. So what we have to do? Compile it first, right? So what I mean by compiling? So it's going to check for errors. So if there are any errors in your code, the compiling will not be successful. Compiling එක successful වෙන්න errors තිබ්බොත්. දැන් හිතන්න මට බැරි වෙලා මෙහෙම දෙයක් කරනවා කියලා. So intentionally what I did, right? Intentionally what I did, right? මම intentionally මොකද කළේ? මම අමතක කළා අර statement terminate එක දාන්න. මොකද කරන්නේ? Right? So now you can see a error, right? So how to identify error? This kind of a red error will be shown, and here the error is shown. Expected, right? Expected semicolon. So that means this program is not compiled successfully. So what do you mean by compiled? Whatever the instruction we have given, like in order to computer to understand that, we need to and the compiler need to convert it to a binary code. So that means the compiler, the C++, the compiler here tries to convert it to a binary code, and it's not successful since there's error. Now, I told you that programming language is not a language like English or Sinhala. Like if we are writing a set of instructions, we have to follow some rules. We have to follow some standards, right? So we need to follow some rules and we need to follow some standards. So we didn't follow a rule. What's the rule, right? A rule is there. Semicolon is the statement term here. That means after every statement we need to include a semicolon. So we miss that. So that's why the error is there. So if we like fix the error and compile it again, right? Now you can see, right? So it's successfully compiled, right? So you can see, uh, right? So now no errors are shown, right? No errors are shown here, right? So you can see no errors are shown, right? Here, if you are getting error, this window will show the error. මෙතන error එකක් එනවා නම් code එක මොකක්යි වැරද්දක් තියෙනවා ඒක මෙතන තමයි පෙන්නන්නේ. Right? So now what we have to do, we have compiled it. That means what? The instruction we have given is converted to a binary code. Now what we can do then we can run it, right? So this is how we are going to run it. So now the instruction we have given is converted to a binary file. So we can run it from here, right? So what is the instruction we given? We given cout. So what we mean by cout is to display, and we asked to display this message. So it displayed. Understood? අපි පළවෙනි program එක. අපි computer එකට කියලා මෙන්න මේ message එක display කරගත්තා. මෙන්න මේ command prompt එකේ. මෙන්න මේ DOS format එකේ තියෙන command prompt එකේ we displayed this message. Right? So we just displayed the message. Right? Okay. Okay. Now tell me what you are expecting here. Now I have given two instructions. So what will be the output? Can someone guess what's the output? Yes, anyone? Yes. I have given two instructions now. Anyone? Can you guess the output?
Program will be show the two statements.
Yes, that means I mean these two messages should be shown, right? Messages like a pen and roll.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So let us start. Now you can compile it. Now, what do you mean by compiling? That means converting this set of instruction to a binary code. मेरा programming language එකෙන් ලියා තියෙන instruction set එක binary code එකකට convert කරන එක තමයි මේ compile කිරීමෙන් කරන්නේ. So the compile is going to convert the thing that the set of instructions we have written in programming, I mean using a programming language, into a binary code, right? So you can compile it, then we can run it. So what do you mean by running, right? So what do you mean by running? So running means after, like, we are just going to convert it, and after converting we are going to run it. That means we are going to get this set of instruction done by the computer. අපි මේ computer එකෙන් ඉස්සෙල්ලාම convert කරන computer එක තේරෙන භාෂාවට, ඊට පස්සේ computer එකට කියලා run කරගන්න, right? So you can do this separately, right? First this and this, or else you can use this button. So it will do the both, I mean compile and run, right? Do the both. This will do the both, right? So you can do it first and do this, or else you can do this at once as well, right? So let's see the output. Okay, so it shows right, it shows this is my first program. This code is written in C++, but not in the method we expected, right? අපි හිතපු විදිහට නෙමෙයි print වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. නැත්නම් අපි හිතපු විදිහට නෙමෙයි display වෙන්නේ නේද? ඇයි අපි හිතපු විදිහට display වෙනවා වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා කියන්නේ? Like we expected like this will be print. I mean, this will be displayed in two lines. අපි හිතුවේ මේක lines දෙකක print වෙයි වගේ කියලා, right? But it's not, right? I mean, providing two couts or providing two statements in two lines doesn't mean that it's going to print in two lines. So if you want like print this in two lines, you have to include that as well. මේක අලුත් line එක print කරන්න ඒකත් instruction එකක් විදිහට දෙන්න වෙනවා. So how we are going to do that? You can put something like this, end L. So what I mean by end L is like we are asking to end the line. That means we are asking to, okay, after displaying this, start a new line. After displaying this, right? After displaying this, start a new line. Understood? So now what you can see. Right? Now you can see, okay. The second line is started in a new line, right? So second line is started in a new line, right? And let me write another thing. Right? Okay. So now what will happen? Let us run this and see. Right? Now what you can see, right? Like, so like this code is written in C++ is printed in a new line, but we use new C++ IDE is not displayed in third line, right? So what you can do here also, you have to include the new end line. So then the second line will be ended from here, right? The second line will be ended from here, right? Right? Understood? Right? So simple, right? I mean, we can do lots of things, right? Using a programming language, using a code. We can control robots. We can design softwares. We can design web applications. We can design mobile applications, right? So we can develop self-driving cars using programming languages. Right? We can do lots of things, but this is where we start, right? එහෙම තමයි පටන් ගන්න. එකපාරට message එකක් කොහොමද display කරන්නේ, right? And මේක කරලා තමයි පොඩ්ඩක් මේක පටන් ගන්න, right? So the thing is, now we just created a software, right? So we just created a software. Now don't worry about these two lines. මේ line දෙක ගැන ඉතුරු හිතන්න එපා. මේක මම පස්සේ ඔයාලට කියන්නම් මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා. So what I want, like, let me compile this, right? And what I want to show you, like you can see we have executable file. So when you are going to open it, right, so these three lines are shown, right? So that means what? After compiling, it's going to create this executable file. So this is a software kind of a thing. This is just a simple program. අපි මේ ලියුව program එක පොඩි program එකක් අපි ලියපු, right? So what happens now? You can open it. So it shows these three messages, right? Now the thing is, okay, now this is like this. I mean, okay, now let me copy it somewhere else, right? So let me copy this software or this exe file somewhere else. Right, so let me copy it somewhere else like this. Okay, now assume someone is going to open this. So he or she is going to see something like this. තේරෙනවද? දැන් මේක කවුරු හරි මේ විදිහට ඕපන් කළාම මොකද වෙන්නේ? මෙන්න මේ වගේ එකක් තමයි දකින්නේ. Right? Understood. Now the thing is, now what I want to show you is, now, I mean, we wrote this. We know that we wrote this code, right? But this software, or this executable file, this binary code, where the binary executable code, right? So when someone is going to open that, he or she is not going to see the code, right? මේක මෙහෙම එන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා එයා දන්නේ නැහැ. එයා දකින්නේ මොකද්ද? එයා දකින්නේ මෙහෙම මැසේජ් එකක් එන software එකක්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මෙහෙම මැසේජ් එකක් එන program එකක්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මෙහෙම මැසේජ් එකක් එන application එකක්. That's okay. Can you understand? I mean, you can copy it in a pen drive and you can ask someone, one of your friends, to open this, right? So when he's going to open this, what's going to happen? This kind of a thing will be shown, right? So this is a software kind of a thing, small, mini, right? Simple program, the simplest program, let's say. But still, what I want to highlight, the user is not going to see the code. දැන් මෙයා දකින්නේ හරියා මේක වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේකෙන් කියලා කවුරුත් දන්නේ නැහැ. අය මේ ලියපු එකෙන් තමයි මේක වෙන්නේ කියලා කවුරුත් දන්නේ නැහැ. Right? No one is aware. That means the thing that going to show is going to happen due to this code. Right? So it's similar to this, right? So you are going to open this kind of a software, right? Right? So you are going to open this kind of software. Let's see. Right? So you don't know what's I mean, there is a code. මේ software එක ඇතුලේ code එකක් තමයි run වෙන්නේ. So there is a code running in this software, but we don't know. We are just going to see this kind of like nice graphical user interface, buttons and other stuffs are there. Right? We are going to see only buttons and other things. Understood? Right? Right? Got it? So that's what I want to highlight. I mean, still there is a code running. මේ word එකේ ඇතුලේ code එකක් තමයි run වෙන්නේ. Right? මෙතනත් එහෙම අපි පොඩි code එකක් ගැහුවා. මොකක්ද? ඉතින් කවුරු හරි මේක open කරාම එයාට මේ message එක පෙන්නනවා. Right? So no one is going to see the code. I mean, you can get this executable, the exe file, and you can send it to like anyone. So when he or she is going to open it, is going to see something like this. But no one is not aware how you did this, how this program is written, what happens inside, right? What happens inside. Understood? Right? Okay, right? So what I'm expecting from you, right? So tomorrow also we are going to meet, right? Tomorrow also we are going to meet, but now tomorrow we are going to talk about variables, right? We are going to talk about variables in C++, right? So we'll mainly discuss about C++ identifiers, keywords, and variables, right? And like arithmetic operations, logical operations, and yeah, assignment operators. So these will be discussed on tomorrow, right? So but before going on to tomorrow's session, what I'm expecting from you, please download this development environment today itself, right? So today itself, please download it and try to implement this kind of code and see, right? And see like whether it's working. Like I want to check whether, I want you to like download this and check whether it's working, right? So simply like run some couts and see whether it's working, right? So what we are going to do on next week, tomorrow, we will like move to some advanced concept like variables, arithmetic operation, logical operations, and we will do lots of things tomorrow, right? But in order to do that, please keep your environment created, and please try to implement these things and get ready, right? Right. uh, yes, so what you can do, if you have any issues, please drop me an email or drop me a message, so you can get my contact number from your batch rep, one of your batch reps, right? So get my contact number, and if you have any issues, you can drop me messages, so you can call me even, right? So get clarified everything, and try to, like, tomorrow onwards we will move on to like some advanced implementations, advanced codes, right? So then we will get to the momentum. But before doing that, please get ready this environment and try a sample code and see whether it's working, right? So today is just an introduction session where we like discuss about what's a programming language, what's C++, what we can do using C++, and what's like the basic syntax of C++, and how to implement C++ code, and how to use C out, right? Okay, so then I will conclude the session from here today, right? And if you have any issues or any concerns, so it's the time. So you can ask if you have any questions or any concerns about things we covered today, or anything related to this module. Another thing, I will tomorrow in the morning or tonight, I will send you the these codes and the slides and the uh, YouTube link to this video recorder session as well, right? So please refer them. And anything other than that, if you have any concern, any issue, yes, anyone? Nothing. Everything is fine. නැත්තම් බඩගිනි ඉක්මනට ඉවර කරන්න කන්න යන්න ඕනේද? Yes, anyone? Any issue? No. Okay, so thank you very much. Yes, Lakshana. Hello? No. Okay, hope it seems you don't have any issue. Yes, we have a message. Let's see. Okay, okay. Yeah, so then thank you very much and good night. So we will meet on tomorrow with the remaining part. So good night and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Good night,
you,
sir.
sir. Good night,
Okay,
sir.
bye.
Thank you, sir.